that we has 10 testimonies, some of them of notable athletes, like who's the Kurt Warner, yeah, and folks like this that are well-known athletes who have a good testimony. We have them in there, along with some people that are just like any of us. Nobody would know us, but we have a testimony. And these are put into all of our shipments. They have a card on the back where they can sign it and say, yes, this makes sense to me. We send them a book and a letter, and then enroll them in the Navigators follow-up classes. And those are administered by our local Christian radio station. So in that way, we reach out to our customers. We have the Plan of Salvation on our website. You won't find it on the front page, but if you look, you'll find the Plan of Salvation. And also, for our own employees, we have 2 chaplains, a male and a female, who come in once a week, walk through the plant, talk to our people. If any of them are having any kind of a problem, spiritual problem, any kind of a problem, actually, they're there to help them. And this is something we just started not too long ago, and it's been accepted very well. Some folks don't, they have a death in the family. They don't have a preacher. They don't know what to do. These chaplains are there to help them either perform the funeral services. One of them is a pastor, and he can do that. Or if they're from a different faith, they'll help line them up with somebody who can help them through these situations. So why do I tell you all this? Not to glorify Stanley Tam or Wes Lytle or anybody, but to tell you how a small business with a purpose can grow. It's not going to become a $50 million company overnight. It takes a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of little steps. But with God behind it, it can grow. Now, why am I involved with this? Partly, I married the boss's daughter. That had something to do with it, I guess. But that's not the whole story. Becky and I graduated from Houghton College. We thought that we had prepared to teach. We thought we were going to teach on the mission field. That was our goal. I had grown up in Medellin, Colombia, had been a missionary kid all my life, and I thought that's where God wanted me. Here at Houghton, I thought that He was calling me. That was my paradigm of what a calling was to be a preacher or a missionary or a teacher on a mission field. And that's what we planned to do. That was at the height of the Vietnam War, and I was prohibited from leaving the country at that time because of my draft status. And so we began to teach. And after a few years, Stanley invited me to come into the business and to become a part of it. I had to struggle with that a little bit because that wasn't my paradigm. I loved business. My dad had been a business administrator of the mission all his life, and I loved that aspect of life. And but I didn't see that as what my calling was. But as I began to pray about this and to think about it, here was a company that had a totally different purpose than most. And if I could get involved and could help others carry out the gifts that they had, then I could be successful in doing things that I could never do as a missionary. And to give you an example, Becky and I had the opportunity to visit Korea a few years ago, and I was asked to give my testimony in front of 100 pastors, Korean pastors. All of these pastors represented as a church that had been started through the ECC ministry that the company had supported. And so, as I looked out over those 100 men, each of them, the average size of those churches was 100. And it suddenly hit me. Here, excuse me, this always affects me, I guess. Here were 10,000 people that I would never have been able to have any influence over personally. But these men had. And they had brought them to Christ. That is repeated 1,800,000 times in the last 30 or 40 years throughout the world. All that is being handled through OMS, One Mission Society. I understand that some of our president and a couple other people were here on campus a couple of days ago. But that's why I'm involved with U.S. Plastics, and I'm having fun doing it. Okay, I know we're supposed to be done at 6:15 and at 6:14, and there's supposed to be some time for questions. You have any questions? Yes. Right now we have 89 employees. A year ago we had 99, and that was partly because of the project that we had going on, and partly because we have seen about a 16% decrease from 2008 to 2009. We had something like 72 out of 76 months where we increased every month over the same month the previous year until the fall of 2008. And that's when the crash hit, and it's affected our business a little bit. I get down about that every once in a while until I start talking to some of my friends, businessmen, who are down much farther than that. And I think, Lord, forgive me. This is your business. You have control of it. And the Lord is continuing. This year we've had to decrease a little bit our gifts to ECC. 2 years ago we gave almost $4 million to ECC. This year it's going to be less than that. But God has continued to bless the business despite the economy. Other questions? Yes?
How large would you say your typical order is? Like how many components are involved?
The last I checked on that, we have an average of 2.3 line items per order. The average order, dollar-wise, is about $150 to $175, something like that. So we have a lot of small orders. We ship about 1,000 orders a day, 3 UPS semis a day, plus some other ones that go out by LTL trucks. Yeah. Other questions? Yeah.
You mentioned that your sales cycle decreased in 2008. Like, how did you guys change your marketing plan in order to get sales up after the sale?
That's hard to do in our type of business. We're a mail order business. We print a catalog. It's a 340-page catalog. We mail 2.75 million of those across the country each year. And it takes 6 months to a year ahead of time to prepare that catalog. I mean, we're working on it all the time. The next one goes to print in about 3 weeks. And so we're getting it ready. But to change things is difficult. So that's hard to do because we're so far out. The Internet has helped us. We have a very large presence on the Internet. I was telling some folks earlier today, if any of you are familiar with the Internet, there's paid advertising and there are natural listings. We have found that you need both. You need to have paid advertising and you need to have natural listings. And so we spend about $1.25 million or more a year just in search engine marketing, paid advertising. If you go to our site and you want to buy something or you want to look at something and there's a paid link at the top and a natural one at the top, please hit the natural one. That doesn't cost us anything. The one at the top does. And sometimes, they may be 15 cents a click. Sometimes it may be $1 a click. So it depends on, it's all done on a bid basis. And I have one guy that's his job, is to watch that every day and make sure that we are getting those. Yeah, but that's one way of we've done it. Part of it is the economy is weak, and there's some things you just cannot change. I'm sorry. Some things you just, there are ups and downs in business cycle, and we happen to be in a down one right now. And I was just at a conference where all this was discussed, and people are much more optimistic than they were a year ago right now, but they say it's going to be very slow coming back. Yes?
The company has about 90 people in it. You've got layers of managers, I would presume, between you